boomers like like you and Gelso, and guys who played every game and played hard and gritted it out and this and that tend to generally not like this idea of the load management here. However, we're seeing an insane amount of stars going out with like considered to be high usage injuries. Jayson Tatum being probably one of the few NBA Ironmen remaining, in the sense that he's not playing all 82, but he never wants to sit. And when he does, it's usually for a good reason. And sure, when you have nothing to play for late in the year, maybe they will manage or sit him in a couple of games here. For the most part, he doesn't want to sit, and he's playing heavy minutes every single game. He goes out and what was most routine looking play, just simply trying to get a ball that was sitting a few feet in front of him. Devastating Achilles injury. Who knows what he's going to look like when he comes back? Definite level of concern surrounding that. But you got a lot of people right now, Max, saying like, you guys are going to make us play 82, expect us to dance, dancing clowns in front of the fans who paid this good money there for their amusement. Then we're not going to be available you make us do that for awards, which are tied to incentives for our contracts. And then I'm going to friggin' risk my career getting into the playoffs, tearing something in there like it's an out of shape injury. These guys are as well conditioned as you could possibly be, but they're going down. You're seeing an insane amount of injuries with guys going down, and you're heading into the playoffs.
Let me tell you why.
Is there incentive?
Let me tell you why. No, let me tell you why.
Okay.
Because I know you want to know this answer. Why are all these players going down?
I don't know.
I believe this is just me. I think they play too much.
Yeah.
I think they not in the regular season, but all the stuff they do in the off season. They never rest their bodies. Jayson Tatum, he went from winning the championship, playing in June or almost July, right into training camp for the Olympics. Here's my thing. I've said this 1,000 times. Either you rest your body or your body's going to rest you. It's unfortunate, but that happens. So during my years, okay, all right, Grandpa, tell us how it is. During our years, what they used to tell me, the veteran players, get away from the game. Go home. Rest for 3 months. Don't do anything. Don't do anything basketball-wise. How many guys you see right now don't do that? They train essentially almost all year. They don't get around and gain like 8 or 9 pounds or 10 pounds during the summertime. Then come back and work it off in camp or whatever it is. They're in shape all the time. But because of that, they never, ever let their bodies rest. And the way the body will rest you, sometimes it will get injured and saying, you weren't going to rest me, so I'm going to rest us. And I truly believe that's what happens in the NBA now.
Yeah, and sure, off-season rest is fine, but again, during the season, the rigors of the game now, I'm not compared to later, but it's everybody's an athlete. There's really no coasting. There's no days off.
John, give me a break, okay? Don't be telling me about how the rigors of the game, how it's so different now. Okay, what we stay is in, and I'm going with the Celtics here. They stay in luxury hotels. They're on planes, private planes.
Yeah,
they have chefs. I eat with them. They have chefs in the morning that cook them breakfast.
Yeah,
all the stuff that didn't happen during the 80s, we didn't. We flew commercial. We stayed in cheap hotels. We did not have all the training staff. You had a coach, you had a trainer, and you had an assistant coach. My first year in the league, John, first couple years in the league, we had to wash our own uniforms, our own road uniforms. So I don't want to hear all this stuff about, oh my God, the rigors of the game.
We're not talking about rigors like your life is hard.
Let's throw some of that money at you, John. Let's throw that 300 million around that might be coming
I'm talking about.
I'm going to go there for the general fan, okay?
I'm talking about right now. I mean, the bigger, stronger, faster you are, the more taxing you are putting things on. There's limits to what the human body can do. We might have gone a little too far with basketball. Is probably the most stressful on your body sport because of the hard surface, the cutting, the jumping, the landing, the constant back and forth. It's a demand. It's a physically demanding game. I'm not saying it wasn't physically demanding back then, but the faster, stronger you get, the more muscle you have to support these cuts and these jumps. It's hard to stay healthy all the way through an NBA season right now. I believe because you're right. They have training. They're in such tremendous physical shape that there's a Red Sox pitcher. I don't know how much you like the Red Sox, Max, named Rod Beck back in the day. Rest in peace. He's not alive anymore. He was kind of one of these old school bearded, chubby relief pitchers who never got hurt. And they asked him, "Hey, Rod, well, how does it you never get injured?" He goes, "You've never heard of a guy going on the disabled list with pulled fat."
What did he say? Because I'm using that fat that I've stored up during the.
He's like, "You don't pull fat, you pull muscles. I have no
you
muscles."
Don't pull fat. Yes, and I like that. I'm not saying that the guys can't be conditioned. I love the fact that they are, but I think there's a fine line.
But is there an argument to play less? That's all I'm asking.
No, it's not playing less. There's a fine line of playing less. I think less during the off season. Of giving your body,
but you want them to play as many regular season games as possible, and you don't think that like, I'll put it this way: as a fan, I get it, but let's say it's your $500 million you're putting in there plus 280 of luxury tax into this team. Do you want to see Jayson Tatum go out and make fans happy 82 games?
You're not saying the fan now. What you're saying is
the preservation of your team. Yeah, ownership and winning and winning.
You're talking about ownership now.
I'm talking about
the general fan. The general fan wants you to play every single game.
I get it.
We know that's impossible.
And my kids want me to play with them 14 hours a day, but I don't have that kind of juice, Max.
What happens, John, is that the average fan that comes to a game, whereas he wants to see Jayson Tatum play, this is the bummer of it. Michael Jordan, doing most of his career, almost played 82 almost every year. For the most part, early in LeBron's year, played almost 80-some games a year. Fans sometimes, and this is the only time I really feel bad, is when we're on the road and Tatum and Brown won't play. And they say it's Portland, Oregon. And you have scraped up money to bring your son to see Jayson Tatum play. And he's not playing tonight. Why? Is he hurt? Is he hurt, or are you resting him?
I understand, Max, but we're not talking about.
That's the only thing I look at and going, that's the only thing I get. I look at. I understand preserving your body, and I understand that the product now is a lot more valuable because of the amount of money and resources that you're putting in that product. So you want to preserve that as much as you can. I do understand that.
You do want to
preserve line. That's the fine line that the commissioner, the Players Association, and the players and the teams have to get together and find out.
Yeah, and you want to preserve it.
You're not going to play less games. You're not going to play. I tell you, John, here's a novel concept. Cut it down to 60 games.
That's what they won't do.
Right. And reason why? What reason is that, John?
Yeah, it's money. But
okay, it's like in the NFL right now, as much as they talk about, we got to preserve these players and that. John, where are they at now? Are they talking about 19 games now?
They are, but they're taking away preseason games. You're right. It's going to be more punishing because the players will play in the preseason games.
Preseason is what now?
Yeah,
that's correct. But each team
I know, Max.
Each team is starting to do more and more to really get their product and make sure they maintain it and then have it on so you can make more money.
Fine. 2 points. First, I get it. But let's not pretend that the Celtics, I know you mentioned the fans scraping together money, but it's not like grabbing Tiny Tim from the orphanage and bringing him to a game here. You're talking about some dad from Wellesley driving his Tesla with his "I didn't know Elon was bad" bumper sticker and his boys Xander and Liam to the game. Those kids can live with a little disappointment. They didn't get to see Jayson Tatum. I'm okay. They're going to be.
How about this?
They're going to be okay.
Let's say this. You're not driving a Tesla, right, John?
No.
And you're bringing your kids to the game.
No, I ask you for tickets.
Let's get the average person that might. It is. We know that it's an expensive product wherever we go when you go to a game. But there are some fans. There's a lot of fans that come to games that go, "Wow, I was dying because I got tickets and Jayson Tatum's coming to town." That's not the illusion of saying we're not giving the thing to the people at the Tesla or Trump or whatever it is. I'm just talking about there's some fans and kids out there.
I get it.
Very disappointed when they're at a game, and I will see one with a Tatum jersey, or Brown jersey, or Porzingis jersey on, and I'll say to him on the road, I'm like, "Well, you know he's not playing tonight."
Well, I'll tell you this, Max. Xander and Liam, from this game, they don't get to go to any more games this year because Jayson Tatum got hurt, and they're sitting home crying about it. And these kids are fickle. They're fair weather fans. They're not necessarily staying with the Celtics forever. They go through a period of 5-6 years of demise because the franchise fell apart because your best players got hurt from overuse. And I'm not saying it's cause and effect necessarily, but ultimately having a competitive team for the long run, going deep into the playoffs and winning championships keeps more fans engaged than the one game I went to and Jayson Tatum sat. So there's something to be said for, hey man, I want to preserve these guys because I want to continue good rather than run them out there. So every regular season, person who bought a ticket, it's different when you wholesale sit an entire team.
Why, John? Why are fans disappointed right now when the Celtics only, as you said,
season's over?
You said early in the broadcast, you said the Celtics choked. Why are they disappointed when you know that, okay, well, you're going to be there for a while, you're invested in it. This is life lessons. You're not always going to win.
And you're not always going to see Jayson Tatum play.
You're not always going to, but you got a chance to see him for how long have you had him now?
Great.
How many times have you been to the playoffs? How many times has he been to the finals?
A lot.
In that,
twice, but anyway.
John, how about this? Even in that, people look at Jayson Tatum as a disappointment because he only won one championship.
Yeah.
It was last year. It was just last year. They said in the NBA, he was the best player to not win a championship that was in the NBA. So I think I think it's really fickle how things go when we talk about the athletes and preserving them, all this other stuff. It's really, really fickle how you can get over that line, but then you have to jump back the other way when this guy goes down. I think, and now essentially, where's he going to go?
I think people want it both ways. It's the same. It's the same argument you get into with the All-Star game. I want these. If you asked a fan, a room full of fans, do you want the All-Star game to be competitive? They would say yes. And then you ask that same group of fans, well, hey, what if your star player got hurt in the All-Star game? Would you have rather they sat? You'd be like, oh my God, yes. But people didn't want them to play in the Olympics.
John, you have just stated the obvious.
I didn't want them to play in the Olympics.
What you said. People want it both ways. Yeah. But you can't have it both ways.
They want to preserve them so they're there when it matters, but they also want to see them every night.
You're not going to have them both ways. I think for me, I hate the All-Star game. I hate the All-Star game. To me, it's a waste of time. Unless you change the format. And the format to me, which would really be a good one, if you put some WNBA women in playing with the guys, I think they'd be a lot more competitive about getting embarrassed.
Yep.
I see when I see them out playing on the floor and they score 230 points, 240 points. That's a layup drill. What you just had was a layup drill. So you don't have anything competitive about it. We can go back in history of games, and there are very few people who are going to be competitive. Pete Rose is one of them. Pete Rose, you think about what he did and there was a catcher
Fosse.
who was at an All-Star game. Fosse was his name.
Yeah.
And he was lined up at the All-Star game, and Pete Rose was chugging around. Pete Rose could have avoided him. This is the All-Star game. And he was sitting there at home plate, and he was blocking the play. Pete Rose doesn't change his tenor. Pete Rose body doesn't say it's an All-Star game. I'm flying in. I'm taking these guys out. That's the difference in now when you think about players.
Yeah,
competing right now.
Ray Fosse, by the way, broke his
Mhm.
shoulder, never healed properly, experiencing chronic pain for the rest of his life. So,
Well, what
congrats.
game was that? What game was that you're talking about?
It was an
All-Star
all-star game. Yeah.
All-Star game. Okay.
Yeah, it was an all-star game.
I know a little bit of history about sports.
Yeah.
Of things that I look at and I see. Your comment is the most brilliant, but the most asinine one that is around. When you say fans want it both ways.
They want it both ways.
That's brilliant. But again, on the other side, that's asinine. It can't happen.
Yeah, no doubt about it.